Hi, my name is Chris Van Dusen. I'm an author-illustrator of children's picture books. Some of my books are The Circus Ship, King Hugo's Hugigo, and a new book called Randy Riley's Really Big Hit. The first drawing I remember doing specifically was when I was probably about 4 years old. And I remember it so vividly. My parents were out for the evening and either one of my brothers were babysitting or something, but I found this book, this paperback book, and it had a blank page in it, and I drew this face in the book. And I loved that I thought it turned out really well. So when my parents came home, I rushed and I showed my mom, I said, look. And she was, I think she was sort of wondering, well, should I tell him he's not right to draw in a book, or should I praise the drawing? And she said, well, that's very good. You did a very good job. And I like to tell people that's my first book illustration when I was 4 years old. I am one of 5 boys. I don't have any sisters. And my mother, I'm sure on rainy days, would be sort of overwhelmed with these little boys running around. And she used to say, well, why don't you, what do we do, Mom? There's nothing to do, we're bored. And she'd always say, well, why don't you guys draw? And so we'd sit around the dining room table and she'd give us paper and we'd just draw, we'd all draw pictures, all afternoon. And one of my other brothers, and his name is Barry, he is also a professional artist. So Barry and I kept drawing and made a living at it. And my other brothers are artistic too, but they didn't pursue it as a career.